Here's your preamble and discussion before we start. And just wait till it hits 1. And I'll go over there and ready to start that thing. Alright. 12:59, counting down. Actually, I should have a countdown just so I know exactly when we're starting. Yeah. So did you have a good Easter?
Yeah, with my friend.
Where did you go?
Just stay in Christchurch.
Fair enough. 1 o'clock, so let's... hello there, I'm Brook and this is Linda. Margaret's not with us today, she's gadding about town somewhere. We're here today talking about our zombie survival horror game After the Light. Linda is going to take us through the animating of the walk for King Leon, one of our boss zombies. So I'll actually start that movie running in the background and hand it over to you. So that was King Leon I just saw in all his bony glory.
Just want to show what's the difference I did for the currently rig. So I just ate some bones for this skirt. Yeah, and
oh yeah, there's the skirt being found out there. So 2 bones per pleat.
Yes.
That's what it looks like.
Just want to show what's the difference with the old one and the new one.
Oh, and how many bones in this cape?
Yeah, I just deleted 2 of them.
Okay.
So just try to make them simple.
Alright. I just made sure I've got the thing on my phone in case anybody asks any questions. Actually, I should probably get out of there because I just remember it actually makes the sound echo backwards and forwards between the monitor and the phone.
Yeah.
Doesn't work very well. Alright, so here he's doing his calisthenics, getting ready to animate.
It is try to see to show what's the difference with the two kind of the grid system. It's like if we didn't set the skirt bones for it, and that part will just follow the legs, and it will have some like big change for the leg part. And then we just import the reference video.
Okay, so this is me going nuts with a camera tripod there.
Yes.
Making sure everybody stays back.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to find the right time. One is just put each angle to half, and then you have to find the right time to make them same action in the right time. And another way is you can show the voice like curve now currently shown on the timeline. So we have the
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. The voice?
This one value.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, okay. So yes, so you can see the value on the timeline.
Yes.
All right.
So just find the sometimes they have.
So that's like synchronization by sound, because that's the sound you're actually looking at, isn't it?
Yes.
So you're trying to find the sound on both timelines and actually sync them up.
Because we can see the clap on the side view, because we can see Margaret, but when another like front view, it's hard to find the pictures. So we just search the voice value for that moment. Usually we'll have a very sharp shape.
Okay.
So just
and this is sort of critical to the animating, because you need that side view and the front view.
Yes.
to be coordinated so that when you're using them as reference for dragging
Yes.
the bones to the various positions, you can actually look from the side and the front.
Yeah.
And it's the same moment.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Oh, you're back.
You're back. You're back. We'll have to rearrange the whole setup. Do you want to come in?
Well, but I'll get a cup of tea.
A cup of tea would be an excellent idea. I sneaked out and made one before we started. All right, so this is me trying to hold off Margaret for some reason.
Yes.
I remember that was a lot of fun actually filming that reference.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got some ideas for some outtakes.
How do you feel when you you guide Margaret to do the reference, and you actually doing the reference by yourself? So how do you feel the difference?
Actually, I've got a lot less confidence doing it myself than directing Margaret, because Margaret, I'm sort of standing back and I can see what she's doing. I can see what, whether it's got the right feel or not.
Yes.
But myself, I'm just relying on everybody else to tell me, was that right? Was that the right way to actually swing that sword?
You did very good.
Yeah, because I can't see for myself.
Yeah, we usually just do like 3 or more times to do the same action, but then we will select which one is the best one. It is not about the acting is the best. I want to choose the right time, like from the left foot in front, then I will pick the whole loop, a perfect loop,
Okay.
to show the left foot in the front. Then we will have a full step,
Yeah.
like left foot in the front, then the right foot go forward, and then another left foot.
Yeah, so you do a 2-step cycle, don't you, when you're doing your...
Yeah, but for this one I just select one loop,
Okay.
because it's not just like the normal zombie just have like unnatural stuff, so we want to the zombie looks natural zombie, so we select 2 loops. So could
Sneak in
about
a bit.
the boss, it's kind of like he can control himself well and have a well balance, so it's okay to just create one work loop.
Okay. All right, so this one's got one walk loop, dragging that enormous sword, which actually turned out to be a very lightweight camera tripod in our case. But people will see what that's for later.
Yep.
You make it look heavy.
That's the idea, is it's supposed to feel heavy.
We
Yeah.
should talk about the weapon.
Okay, tell me about the weapon.
I mean, you select the right tools to pretend the weapon. So we choose the camera holding. How
Yeah, the
we
tripod,
call it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very smart.
Yeah, as it turns out, it was the perfect thing. But earlier we were really getting frustrated trying to find something that was the right height and the right.
Yes.
And then, of course, yeah, it just turned out the camera tripod was just ideal, because
Yeah,
we could
tripod.
set it to whatever height we wanted. Had a nice shaft for gripping at the end. Okay, so here's some front view stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see how Linda actually synced the front and left view? She was actually using...
So she actually got the front view this time.
Yes. She was actually using the soundtrack and sort of matching it up at exactly the same
Oh, very good.
peak in the sound. Yeah, so...
Really helpful to have that front view this time. Hang on,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Nice of you to send it to her.
It's I have, yes, we've learnt our lesson. We've learnt our lesson.
Have we?
Yeah, we have, yes.
Have we?
All right.
I just remember the first time when I heard the After Effects have some problem and you will have some me. I don't know what happened. I just thought, what which software caused that sound? I thought that it was like maybe YouTube thing because at that time I was doing the llama, so it's so well.
So it just fitted in. Yeah. The llama is one of my favourite animations of Linda's. It's, you can see it on our website. It actually pokes its tongue at you. Okay, so here we're actually starting matching up with the reference by the look of it. So
Yeah.
you can see the video on the, you briefly saw,
Yeah.
video on the front and side image panes in Maya.
Yeah. For this time, I didn't create animation follow the side view to create the descent firstly, because I actually moved my camera when I show the reference video, so I just follow you. So I just for this time I just create the in place animation just to see your pose on that moment, but I didn't move the character at all.
So this is a different technique to last time, because last time you actually matched up the walking
Yes.
with Margaret walking,
Yes.
and then you had to cancel out all the movement so that he was just walking on the spot.
Yeah.
But this time round you're actually cancelling out the movement ahead of time, really, because
Yes.
you're just making him go along with me, and you're adding movement to his legs without actually giving him any forward
Yes.
translation. That's the word I was looking for. So you're not translating him at all.
Yeah, I want to say if this way is better than that one.
That's really good. I just like that these little innovations sort of happen every time we do something. There's something new that's learnt and
I
discovered.
like the way he's stepping out of the scene. It looks like an aha video, doesn't it?
And for this time, it's kind of tricky to place the weapon, because the weapon is not just hold on the hand. So it have another way to just lean on your shoulder. So I need to create some controller to make sure the sword are not moving follow the hand. So I have to pin the sword on the shoulder, and another side is hold and will follow by the hand moving.
Yeah. And that's what this guy's got, 2 walk cycles. We should explain to people out there. So he's got a walk cycle where he's dragging the sword, and he's got a walk cycle with the sword on his shoulder.
So this one is for the time when the boss is shown in the first time, and he is quite arrogant and confident, and another one is after he got some injury.
Yep.
Right.
A little bit of damage. Yep.
Yes. So feel not he have not enough power to hold the sword. So he will drag it on the ground.
Yeah, in fact, something happens when he drags it on the ground, which we won't give away yet, but there is some aspect of gameplay that is important when he's dragging that sword on the ground. Something that makes him a boss, really. Yep, I'm managing that sword fine. Look for all how heavy it is. It's just easy. I don't know what that tripod weighs, but it is really lightweight. So trying to make it look like it was heavy. We probably should have put something on it just to give it a little more.
It's still kind of unwieldy though, isn't it? Because it's long.
Yeah, unwieldy is. I mean, that's definitely something we can capture, because it really was unwieldy. That's why it was important to use the full size thing, I think, rather than just fake it with a little stick or.
Yeah, I stopped while I got some block on this moment is because I'm thinking about how can I connect the sword to the hand and also put it on the shoulder, and they can hold together.
Yeah.
Without cutting his own arm off.
And I need to find a perfect position and make sure the sword not hurt his neck.
Yeah. Cut his
Rachel
head off,
saws
cut his arm off.
Saws his own head off.
Split him down the middle.
Just imagine him lopping his arm off accidentally. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark.
Make your eyes water.
Okay, getting quite finicky about the placement there. So, oh yes, the important thing, I guess, that this sword is not part of the model.
Yeah.
Is so you can actually dislodge the sword if you need to. So
Yes.
there might be a part in the gameplay, and I'm not saying there is or there isn't, where you can actually knock the sword out of his grasp. In which case it's important that he can let it go, that you're not having to deform or destroy your model. I just did that neck thing there.
What neck thing? That neck cutting head off
No,
thing?
no, that neck thing that you can do when you dance. I can't do it, but some people do it really well, you know. They do it in Indian movies all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I have no
Can't do
idea.
it when I'm turning faces. I do that well.
Just know the chicken. When you hold the chicken, and the head will always keep in the same position, like.
You rotate the chicken, and the head just stays looking at the same thing.
It's very fun.
For the chicken?
Yeah. If you hold the chicken like this, and its head is just on the front, and if you see the camera, you will find that the chicken head is still
In the
keep
same
on the
place.
same position and the body.
We used to do as
Do you
kids
do that
is
often?
You can pick them up and you hold both
No, I
feet.
just saw the video.
Ah.
You can pick them up and you hold both feet in your hands,
Yeah.
and then you pat their backs and the top of their head while they look, and then you can turn them upside down and lay them on their backs, and they just sit there with their feet in the air.
I've heard that, but I've never been able to do it.
Yeah, I heard
I
that
have
too.
tried.
I think we had about 5 in a row once, just all sort of lined up.
Really? I am not the chicken whisperer.
Yeah, I'm doing the controller for
Okay.
the sword.
So controllers are sort of compound things.
Yeah.
For those people that don't know, you can implement a controller that moves a number of joints at once.
Yes, I will just set like 2 drawings for it, but
Yeah.
I will set another pair of IK to connect them and set some like aim constraint and the parent constraint to make sure the sword is actually will follow as the hand, but at the same time it will not take it off from the shoulder. He will still keep on the shoulder and will follow by the hand.
Okay. So just pointing out there for those watching, that pole that I keep marching up to is actually the Vive lighthouse tower. It's not actually there to help us match things up or anything. It's just there by serendipity. Just happens to be there.
Very purposeful.
I do. I should project like that all the time. You just need a sword on your shoulder, and it's really easy to
Get agreement
get,
on just
to
about
get into
anything.
that purposeful.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, just moving head and shoulders now. I can see with the controller. Are we doing some facial animation for this guy eventually?
Not now. But I've already set the jaw joint and also the eyebrow joint for it. So if we have some cutscene need the facial animation, so we could do some simple one.
He doesn't have eyebrows, it's bone. You're not supposed to be able to move
it's
the bone.
Yes.
You're slightly obsessed with that.
But still have some like little bit muscle.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to do something. I mean, he walks
Yeah, I
around
know.
perfectly fine. Why should he not be able to move his face?
Because it's a solid bone.
Well, none of him is really all that flexy anymore, is it?
No, well,
And yet, there he is.
this is true. And I appreciate that people need to be able to give him character, so deforming the bone to make it look like drawn eyebrows is
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
quite masterful, but
Actually,
Walking on his heels.
actually, when I asked search said where he's not, he just beat the like ambient occlusion map on the mesh, so we cannot. If we take off the helmet, you will see the shadow line on the head. Actually, I just ate.
we're not going to take off the helmet,
yeah.
though, are we?
But I have already added the joint to control the helmet, so we are not doing that. That's a shame. Yeah, I'm thinking about if I need to delete that bone because it could save some space for our source. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should take off that joint. If we don't need do animation for the eyebrow, I will take it too. Take it off for both of them.
I don't know. I think we should try it and have a look.
Yeah, so I will keep it.
There will be some people out there that go, what? He's moving his bone, his facial bone.
Well,
But from my point of view, he's just mummified, so
yeah,
perhaps
for,
it's skin up there that's moving.
for my view, he's boss. He's a boss, so he can do anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a funny discussion to have. What's possible for a zombie to do?
Apparently, anything he likes.
Yeah, at the same time, when we do the work keyframe and key pose, I will also do the simply to replace the skirt bones to make them just follow the foot,
Okay.
the feet, yeah, the legs.
Yeah, because at the moment we can see what's happening when we're doing the in-between frames.
Yeah,
So you're setting the keyframes so that skirt is riding on top of the leg, so
yeah,
it goes up with the leg, but in the in-between frames that knee is actually clipping
yeah.
the skirt, which is not the effect we want. So that's a bit of a rigorous thing. So that's all about smoothing curves again, is it, to make sure that stays outside the...
Yes. Always keep an eye on them.
Yeah. Well, that's very good. I see, many places, like, you have a look at some of the things that happens with some of the Bethesda models in Elder Scrolls and so forth.
Yeah.
You get that clipping from time to time. Not that bad, but you do get clipping from time to time, and I wonder if there's just some level that people, designers, decide, oh, we don't really care about that little bit of clipping, It just happens and they let it go. But it's nice to be a perfectionist as well. So he's already starting to walk like me.
Yeah, your brother.
Sorry?
Your brother.
My brother Leon. Everybody, come and say hello. Don't be scared by the big sword.
And the stench of decay.
Yeah. He's a nice bloke, really, or he was before he died. A little more morally flexible now. Might eat you, kill you. All right. So again, lots of animating curves being adjusted there.
That chair was in the way somewhat.
Yeah, we
It
should
was
have
well
actually
planned.
moved that. That's in fact the chair you're sitting on, really. It's quite in the way. That made it hard for you. You see, you don't really appreciate this when you're actually doing the filming, do you? Just how difficult something's going to make
I
it.
feel it's okay. Yeah, just like maybe 7 frames in the front.
Mm-hmm. Now he doesn't really walk like that. This is speeded up four and a third times, so that we can squeeze in 4 hours of your work into 1 hour.
Yeah.
Just like to point that out to people, we're not doing the Benny Hill version of After the Light. I noticed too, watching my own reference, just sort of galloping along there.
It was very Benny Hill.
Funny
wasn't
to
it?
watch.
Yeah, nothing's really all that menacing at that speed.
We've got about 40 seconds at the end of this movie. We've got about 40 seconds of them walking at regular speed, so you can see the actual animation.
Yeah, but I will think still will have I will try later to maybe slow down the speed a little bit, because I feel if we slow down the walking speed, it will show he's not like just like it will just look like a boss and not rush.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes things look epic because you actually slow them down a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but we can slow down it in the Unreal Engine. So
I think in action movies, as a matter of course, for a long time they used to actually film things at 25 frames a second and play them back at 24 frames a second, so that everything was just that little bit slower than normal, and that creates this sort of epic feel to it.
yeah.
I have Chariots of Fire music in my head.
Oh yes,
Vangelis.
those guys ran more slowly than.
Exactly. How epic was that? That should be his theme music.
What, Vangelis?
Hmm.
Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for something better from Lilith Crow, actually, for theme music.
How can you go better than Chariots of Fire?
We'll leave it to Lilith Crow. Those guys are epic.
Are they?
Does Gav watch this, by the way?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. You should watch. You'd learn something interesting about himself.
How epic he is.
Yeah. And that guitarist can really shred.
So I've heard.
So it's hard not to go da 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 when you see that. All right, again matching his skirt.
Yes. The skirt have the material is kind of like leather,
Yeah.
right? So it is not like the like fabric or silk.
Yeah.
It's very it's a little
Very
bit
heavy and stiff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he will not just like have some like wave with the wind or something. So we'll just always follow the legs.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I see there he's exposing a little bit of inner thigh. So one of the hotter looking zombies.
Yeah, truly. Yep, he's another one of those good-looking zombies.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
he could have
little
done with
mini
it.
skirt with a slit up the middle.
He could have done with smaller gloves. I noticed that once your arms actually fade away to nothing, the gloves would be a bit loose, one imagines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a boss. He'd look a little silly with tiny hands.
Did you ever watch that TV series Big Train?
No.
I think it was Big Train. They had a character called the Fat-Handed Twat, and that people used to laugh at, and it showed him because he had massive fingers and all this, and he was trying to do things like dial a cell phone.
No, I've not seen that nor heard of
Okay.
that.
I must get that series out sometime. You should come over and watch it.
Indeed. They
It
should do
was
something
very
similar with Trump hands.
Those are the same guys that did the, excuse me, do you speak English? No, I'm terribly sorry, I don't. Which implies that the guy learnt that entire line just to respond to somebody.
Yes.
But it goes on. So what are we doing now, Linda? I've lost track talking about TV.
And tiny hands. What colour's his hair under the helmet?
Actually, he was supposed to be a redhead under the helmet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How very, very convenient.
He's supposed to have a bit of Viking ancestry.
A little bit of tangerine hair and the huge gloves to hide the tiny hands.
Yeah, we stopped. Can't remember what I was doing.
We went for lunch at this point, and we just have to talk our way through it. This is Linda at lunch.
Oh, God.
She was eating a nice sandwich.
She ate
wasn't it?
fast.
She bolted it down. Actually, that's coming up quite good. You can see not much clipping of the skirt happening now.
Yep.
That's really good. I wonder if there's a sort of medieval name for that skirt that he's wearing.
No idea.
Did they call it a skirt? Did they call it something else? Yep. Look at him go.
And another thing is about this character. He's wearing like a mental helmet, and also for the chest is also made by mental, so it's really hard and not easy to just like bow or other turning.
Yeah, so his movements would be restricted.
Yes.
And so would yours be. And of course we can't basically almost everything he's wearing would be weight mapped to 0 because there's not going to be much bend in it.
Yeah, makes this part not I didn't do lots of like movement for the chest part.
Yeah. Because you can't, it won't expand and contract as he breathes the same way a shirt would.
Well, considering he's not going to breathe.
Well, that's true too.
Not really an issue.
Not much of a breather these days. Yeah, I guess the important thing is with weight mapping. When you're actually doing this animating job, normally you would be adding values to the skin or your shirt, clothing, all the rest of it, just to say how much it's actually going to move when a particular joint moves.
Yes.
So what sort of deformation can actually happen. But when the character's wearing armour, it becomes a really easy job. Nothing moves.
But we still need to paint the weight map.
Yeah.
Just not move the joint for a big like change.
Yep. Is it a weight map full of zeros?
No.
So now there are some things that articulate though on that armour, like those epaulets, pauldrons. I was trying to remember the name. Pauldrons on his shoulders. They actually move up and down as he moves his arm up and down.
Yes.
Pauldron isn't cauldron.
Yeah,
What?
normally. I think
How do you spell it?
Pauldron.
Oh, so like cauldron.
Like cauldron, yes. Pauldron is in cauldron, yes.
Pauldron.
Yeah. Did you know that before, or did we just teach you something?
Yeah, you teach me something. Always teach me.
Very good. But But I don't know the names of any of the rest of it. I know the pauldrons, the gauntlets, but I don't know the rest. And that's really disgraceful for a Dungeons and Dragons player such as I was. I should know it all by now. I'm sure it wouldn't take many games for me to actually pick it all up again.
Oh dear Lord.
Want to play?
Never. But thanks.
We should play that cool one that Will does, that Codex of the Realm. That is a great game.
And this moment, just rotate the hip a little bit, lean on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Is because he's carrying the heavy sword, so if he wants to try to balance his body, so he will just lean to the left side a little bit.
Okay, so we're accounting for a bit of gravity.
Yes.
On his enormous sword there.
Yeah. If you see yourself, you will see your body actually is also lean to the left, like a kind of angle.
Okay.
Compensate.
Even though I'm carrying a, weight-wise, a relatively tiny sword.
Nonetheless, you were apparently struggling under the weight of it, the tiny weight of it.
It seems so. I didn't feel I was at the time, but I can see it. But yes, very purposeful. I really notice the clenched fist and all. I've really got it. I'm really in character there.
Oh, another cup of coffee time. No, actually, I remember this time is when I talking something with Sergi.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
so
sometimes we will have some cooperation and sharing our opinion from our work. For sometimes Sergi will ask me if he need to add some loops for the joint part. So for like the shoulder or the knees, so he will ask me for some opinion about how to set the polygon lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and sometimes I will ask him just like should we is any possible we could take off his helmet or any other things like that. So we will talk about some question.
So we actually have talked about edge loops before with Sergi, I think.
Yeah.
So you need sufficient edge loops around joints in particular to stop a phenomenon called pipe bending, and this is when a round, like an arm or a leg or something, flattens out as you actually bend it.
Yes.
So yeah, edge loop's a very important component to stop that happening. So how much edge loop editing actually happens while you're animating? Do you ever go to Sergi and say, look, I need a couple more here because this is really...
It is like normally we just set like 3, like at least 3 for the joint part.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for other place it just depends the different situation. Just like skinny character or fat
Mm-hmm.
character, we sometimes of course sometimes if I feel the loop is not enough, I will add it by myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't need to involve Sergi there, you
Yeah,
can just go and
yes.
throw a few extra
Yes.
edge loops in.
Yeah, I think this time when Sergi asked me is because we were talking about the weapon. So we were talking about a weapon if we want to do some parts, if we need to add more loops or not. And I'm quite look for the weapon final model.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very interesting.
Yeah, it should be a very impressive sword when we
Yeah.
get that one completed. Although I understand Sergi's working on a crossbow today,
Well, yeah.
and hopefully we get that. We get to stream that on Twitch at some point. Because I don't think we've done any weapons yet, have we?
Yeah, just those swords with the characters, not the
Okay.
player's weapon.
Okay. That's right, we had the sword on the bony soldier. Well, I know the bony soldier's got a sword. I can't remember if we actually covered the sword.
It is sword. I just want to
Yeah.
surprise you.
Yeah, you quite threw me. Hold on, what faux pas have I committed now? Yeah, alright, so this sword's made it in. The bony soldiers had a sword that made it in, but yeah, the actual crossbow, a working player weapon, will be really interesting to see. And I'd like to see the development of it. That's hopefully Lincoln captured the concept as he developed it. Although I have to say it's really hard to get people to just record what they do. And of course it's sort of vital to this stream that we actually do record what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully Lincoln caught the concept of making that, making the concept art for the crossbow. Sergi would make the model for the crossbow, and probably animate it too, because it's fairly simple. It's just.
And with those things, I think our hard driver is really need big space. Like my computer only have 80 gig bits left.
Wow. Okay. We need some network addressable storage, maybe, or just shove an extra drive in your machine. That's another possibility too. Nice thing about network addressable storage is everything's in one place. I sort of like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to backing things up, you know where everything is.
Yeah.
But it does slow things down a little bit.
Yes.
Although, it should be fine in here. We've got gigabit Ethernet, so.
Yeah, I think I need to check my history files. I need to delete lots of them. Yeah, my bad habit is I always keep like some copies. If I do some change for this file, I want so I will make some copy file.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I will.
Do you put your stuff in Dropbox
it.
or Git?
Yeah, Dropbox or as well.
Okay. Because in Dropbox, I think it does keep a history for you of files, so you don't necessarily need to make a copy. But
okay.
But I don't know where where that actually saves. But
yeah, I didn't know. We are still doing the just like again we change some pose, then we will go back to the curve to check the animation curve again.
Yeah.
And this time just focus on the detail part for the feet and the forefinger for the foot.
Okay. So we can see his other hand alongside is actually moving as well. So
yes,
he's sort of doing a little bit of a march there.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's following me. I was doing the same thing by the look of it.
Yeah.
Of course.
That is rather the point.
Yes, that is the point. Yeah. Man, you could fit two of him in me. Look at that. I could eat 2 King Leons. Look at that.
Well, you may well have the opportunity.
Oh, it's moving out.
Yes, at this point you see just the character looks like follow you, but actually is you follow the character. It's because I set the key and move the reference video just go back, so you can keep on the same position.
Okay. So is that the head articulation we're looking at there? It's
Yes.
strange because it looks like it's on the sword, but that's actually the head, isn't it?
Actually, it's a head joint, yes.
Yeah.
Because we said X-ray to see the joint, so we can easily to find those joints.
Ah, yes. So how did it work out in the long run, actually animating it so that he wasn't moving, so that he was just, animating it so that he was following me rather than...
I was just...
did it save any time?
Yes, I feel it save time because I don't need to. I can freely to copy the first frame to the end one. Do you remember when we follow the actually this distance move from the A part to another side, and if I copy the first pose to the last one, and the character will go back to the first frame, so it's not good for me, so I have to just copy every value to the end joint, and will calculate the distance, and if we just keep it in place, so we could just copy it freely.
Okay.
It's easy to just copy the same pose.
Yeah. So for those that saw this previously with the other zombies, we're actually, rather than doing something highly realistic, we're trying to make sure that the first and last frame of a walk cycle match up.
Yes.
So that one step blends smoothly into the next step.
No glitch in the matrix.
No. Just, noticing he does have a significant thigh gap, which is a problem if you're a zombie, especially when you're as old as this one and you get quite depleted and, what would you call it, when you suck the moisture
Desiccated.
out? Desiccated, thank you, that was the word I was looking for.
So tell me why that's a problem.
Being desiccated?
The thigh gap.
Well, for one thing, you don't look as fierce when you've got skinny legs.
Not as skinny as his arms.
True.
He's skin and bone, but without the bone. Well, no, without the skin.
Without the skin, yes. Yeah, maybe we should have put skin on it, just so that it was really close to the bone, so you could see it was bony, but of course you're going to wear through that skin pretty thick when you start waving that sword around. Pretty thick, pretty quick. You're going to wear through it pretty quickly when you start waving that sword around, because it'll tear through the skin, which will be all
wear
dry.
Through his neck shortly.
Yeah. We're all waiting to see it when his head accidentally rolls off. I think it's in control. It's a very coy way of standing. Look at that.
It is. Really have some fun with this, couldn't you? Sort of use some of the Ministry of Silly Walks for reference. Go to town. Did I dream that John Cleese died?
I think you might have.
Wow.
I didn't hear he did.
You did?
I didn't hear
Oh,
that he
you
did.
did?
No.
Been dreaming some real life shit lately, tell you.
Stephen Hawking did.
Yeah, no.
That was sad.
I'm down with that. I'm just going to check on John Cleese.
Yeah. Well, remember that thing on Facebook said Rowan Atkinson was dead, but he wasn't dead at all.
Oh, yeah. No, I dreamed this, I'm sure.
Yeah. I dreamed somebody stole my jacket that I only just got.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. Yes, I thought it
He's
was
still alive.
really rough having my dream jacket stolen when I just got it.
Yeah, sometimes I will dream a bunch of zombies want to catch me.
Do you? So this stuff gives you nightmares, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's really like the whole world, and just except the building we stay in, just except that building, everywhere is zombie, and we try to kill them all.
So is it whatever you happen to be animating at the time? Did you have dreams of hordes of cheeky llamas following you previously?
No.
No, that didn't happen.
But sometimes I do dream some weird animals. Just like 3 days ago, I dreamed some really, just like a village is those people actually are animals, and just like they will talk to you and have some very fun moments. Sometimes I really enjoy my dream.
Yeah.
Cool. Lucky.
Yeah, it's just like
Do you still have enjoyable dreams?
No, mine are much more like the Hunger Games at the moment. So no, I wouldn't say so.
I'd bet on you in the Hunger Games.
Would you?
Yeah. I reckon you'd do well. So he's taken his skirt off, so he's strolling about in his armour undies at the moment.
yeah.
So what's the reason we've taken his skirt off?
It's because I want to see the legs.
Okay.
I want to see the how the legs working, and after I fix all the main body part, I will bring another model in. This model is I just delete the dress and the cup.
So did you delete it, or is it on another layer or something? that you
It
can hide?
actually is a two model, two
Okay.
mesh. Yes, I just delete
Two mesh,
this-
same skeleton.
Yes,
Okay.
and this one I just delete some part. It's because I want to see clearly what's the main part is going on, and I just hide the full mesh in another layer. You can see in the right hand lower part.
Mhm.
There's some layers.
Okay. So in this guy we've got quite detailed hands, so he's actually got all his fingers
Yeah.
and his thumb, so he can articulate everything,
Yes.
or he can move everything.
I guess that's you're just lucky if you've got a special sword like that, then you get special hands.
Yeah, well, I think it's just being a boss.
I'm really like his fat hand. It's of course not his finger is fat, is because gloves, but I feel it's really feel me happy when I do this part.
Yeah, no, he'd have a good grip on it with his big armoured fingers.
Uh-huh.
Although it might actually be the way they are, which is they're a little bit loose on the handle because you can't necessarily pull the fingers in for as tight as you want to. Man, I'm sleepy underneath that thing again.
I know,
And it's
but
running today.
pouring cold air down upon us, and yet
Yep, but here I am.
yawning. Me too.
What is it about this side of the room? Because I don't yawn on that side of the room.
Why?
I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe because we've got the windows over that side.
Got a door on this side.
Oh, a door that faces out into a corridor that's probably full of people breathing.
Well, maybe one or
So
two.
it's already expended. All the oxygen's expended.
Looks like looks fine now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I will. Oh, on this part, I feel this controller is not perfect, so
Okay.
I just will change it for another set. It always happened. Even happen when after I finish the animation, and then I feel some joints are not set in the right place, so I will just replace the joints and then transfer the animation to the new rig system.
Mm-hmm. I do like the look of that sword.
They don't like the cold still up 'em. Mr. Mannering.
No, there's all sorts of places on that sword for another blade to actually be caught.
Mm.
Both coming at from the hand side of the blade, from the pommel side of the blade to the other side. There's places where you can actually get a grip on somebody's sword, twist it away from them, which I believe is the point of those things.
Yes. Actually, when we do some like weapons, or just for example like the sword,
Mm-hmm.
in the real world, actually the sword is kind of like thin for the blade part, so it could be very sharp. But for the game, because we want to show it in the game and even on the side view, we want to know this is the sword. So we will actually to make the sword a little bit thick.
Yep.
Yeah, not too thin. It's because we want to show to the player, even for the every angle of the camera, we want to show that even if you see the side, you can still know that's the sword, and not that if the sword is too thin, and if you go to this like this view, you cannot see it.
Yeah, true.
That's not good. Yeah,
It looks like a long pin.
yes. Sometimes we will change the shape a little bit, just for the good to view it.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Now, one of the things people might have missed there was you were actually using a locator on the end of that sword to trap where the tip was moving, right?
Yes, it's because for this one, actually I still set the locator to check the animation track.
Oh dear. Sorry.
Linda, you're boring him.
No, you're really not. Definitely feeling a lack of
Yes,
circulating air.
No, it's because just we finished a long weekend.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And also we have 4 minutes to go.
4 minutes to go,
Yeah.
yes.
It's
the next
very
thing.
quick.
We do. So we have a meeting and a phone call and then another meeting.
No, just a phone call meeting and then another meeting.
Yes. So we've got a phone call, then a phone call meeting, then a meeting.
A really busy
Crikey.
day.
Yeah.
Crazy busy.
Yeah.
Crazy busy.
Easy busy, but we could be busier. We need to actually pile up the work for the rest of the year, so
Yeah.
we need to get all the customers through the door that we can.
So we're not just crazy busy, we're in fucking insane busy.
Right.
So where are we?
Can you repeat that, Linda? What did she say?
Oh, I didn't hear anything actually.
Wow. Oh, sharp.
Yeah,
You won't make her swear on Twitch.
Yeah, sometimes I will just say, pretend I don't know what they said. Sometimes when they want me to say some very insane word.
Perfectly good words. Perfectly good words. We have like 3 minutes, so do we have time? Do we need to push this forward a little bit to where we're
Yeah, I think
seeing him walking at his normal speed?
No, it should only run over by a minute or two. But
Do we have a minute or two?
Oh yes, we can bluff people. People can watch me talk to a customer on Twitch. That would be a really boring
Sure,
stream.
people really want to see you do that.
We'll have a day of Brook talks to customers on.
Oh God.
That's nothing to do with
Oh,
After the
dear
Light,
Lord.
which the customer is us, essentially. We're doing that for ourselves. All right, so
yeah, we
let me
can
see if
move
I
it
can
back.
go a little bit further forward. Yeah. And what about we just accelerate it a bit? Actually, that's probably a bad idea because the bit you don't want accelerated is coming up. So what we need to do...
Also, it makes my brain hurt just a little bit. I've got used to seeing it pretty quick, but too fast is too fast. How does it feel to work at that speed, Linda? Is it amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super Linda. There we go, nice smooth animation curves. So we can see it's just about finished now because everything looks beautifully curved.
He's still running like fuck.
Yes, but we are coming up to the 39 seconds where he doesn't.
Yeah.
That was a deliberate
Look at him
choice.
trotting along.
Linda gave me one piece and said, don't accelerate this. So.
She said, don't fuck it up.
Did you say that? Well,
No, I never.
it didn't sound like you, I have to say.
I have heard you say that, however. Well, not that exact sentence, but There we go. There he is.
There he is. Normal walking speed. So this is the last 39 seconds. All right. So, well, thank you very much for presenting that for us
left and right
today, Linda.
Cool. That looks amazing.
Yeah, that's Brook's brother.
Yeah.
King Leon.
Brooks'
Remember
evil
him.
So there'll be more of King Leon coming up because we'll have a bit of sword play and so forth. But for now, that was King Leon learning to walk, thanks to Linda's animation skills. I'm Brook, Margaret and Linda. We've been presenting After the Light, our zombie horror survival game. Stay tuned. Weekdays 1 p.m. in New Zealand and whatever the heck that is in I didn't even say hell, whatever the hell that is in any other country, but yeah, 1 p.m. in New Zealand. Okay, bye for now, everybody. Oh, I lost the mouse altogether. And stop.